Good morning. Thank you for joining us today. This is an announcement with respect to the homeless situation here in Winnipeg and what I will do as mayor in the short term and in the long term. Statistics do tell us that there are many people that are two paychecks away from being homeless, and that's unfortunate. And it's getting worse in our city because of the high inflation and such. We cannot continue to ignore the homeless situation in our city. It is a crisis, and as mayor, I will treat it as such. During this election, I find it good, actually, that people are talking about the homeless issue. Not in a negative way, but in a positive sense, asking for action, looking for leaders to do something to help our brothers and sisters that find themselves in a difficult position. A former colleague of mine, Gillingham, proposed a plan that would not benefit us until 2025 at best. It was long term. That's ignoring the fact that this is a crisis today. And as Bowman's finance chair, he had several years to do something about it, and nothing was done. Other candidates, Murray and Loney, have proposed plans as well, which is great, but they are simply ideas with no substance and take no immediate action. As mayor, I will immediately be calling on other levels of government, including our Indigenous government leaders, to join me and work together to address the homeless crisis in Winnipeg. First, we must act quickly before winter hits. We do not want people suffering during a winter that we have just heard could be the worst winter we've seen in a long time. This city can immediately purchase accommodation trailers. This is being done in other cities. It's being done in British Columbia, it's being done in a southern Ontario city, and it's being done on the East Coast. These trailers are readily available and provide accommodations. This can be done quickly. I'd also have the city provide the land for these trailers. Ask the federal government through their current programs to provide funding for these trailers and accommodations. And then also work with the provincial government to provide staffing of social services that are necessary to make this a successful plan. Together, we can make things work. Together, we can help bring people to the agencies they need. We have to take an approach of action. We have to treat this as a crisis. I would also expand the ARC program to get people into these homes as quickly as possible. The ARC program, some of you may know, is a pilot project that uses police and a social worker to help individuals. I would also expand some of the organizations that are funding to the organizations that have lived experience people, addiction counselors that are working in their organizations, and give them access to these accommodations so that we can work together to bring help and support to the individuals that find themselves in this difficult position today. I've done this already in many ways. I proved it can work. I took Homes for Heroes that was ignored by the city of Winnipeg to a place where they're going to start building in the spring and be open by fall, and helping our homeless veterans that currently find themselves living on the streets of Winnipeg. This can be done if you give it the attention it deserves and if you make it a priority. Phase 2 in our housing crisis is the long-term solution, and we would implement that as quickly as possible with a view on the future. As mayor, I will prioritize approvals for building permits and access to land for affordable and rent-geared to income housing in the city, with long-term agreements to ensure affordability. They're helping our residents. We work with them and help them. That's how the partnership starts. That's how we help more people. I will also work with not-for-profits and prioritize permits for occupancy and buildings to allow them to house people as quickly as possible and when it's safe to do so. I will reduce or eliminate property tax for not-for-profit housing that provide real affordable housing back to the rent-geared income. We will keep the deliverable milestones in place. As long as you're offering the rent geared to income, we will help you with that by reducing your property taxes. We also want to make sure that you have the support services to offer to those residents to ensure that we give them a great fresh start. Look, as someone who, for a very, very short time, spent a night in a shelter, I can tell you it's not what you choose to do. And people need our help. They need to be connected with services. It sounds easy for you and I, but it's not that easy when you have nowhere to go. You don't have access to those services at your fingertips. We take that for granted in many ways. We have to make it easy to help our residents that are in need right now. I've been listening to residents throughout the city, and I can tell you they want leadership to address this crisis. Again, they want to make sure that we're doing our part to help our relatives that are on the streets. This plan, the two plans that I've given to you today, will do just that. It will address the crisis immediately, and it will ensure future development of rent geared to income, affordable housing in the city of Winnipeg. Any questions?